All right, guys, welcome back in here. We're going to do 11.4, posting special journal totals to a general ledger today. So if I pull up my work together for 11.4, it looks like this, and I've got my instructions and calculator as well. So just as a reminder here, if I pull this up, I'll do my purchases first because that's the order we'll go in. Sorry, sales will be the first one. But if I just as I look at this here, so with Brandy Sparks, we've already posted this individual transaction to her account. We haven't posted it to accounts receivable, sales credit, or sales tax credit, or sales tax payable yet. We've only done it to her account. So we've got our totals here at the bottom of our journals. And what we'll do is we'll just post those to their individual account numbers. So if I want to post the accounts receivable debit, I go over, let's see here, I go over to their ledger for accounts receivable. I say on the 31st from S10, I've got a debit of $7,377.60. I add that here since they're both debits, and I get $8,662.33. When I've done that, then I want to post the account number here at the bottom. Make sure that you put your parentheses in first. So I'll do the same thing here with sales credit. So I'll go to sales. I'll say on the 31st from S10, got a credit of $6,960. I will add that to what I've got here. Give me a second to do my calculation. And I should end up with $240,295. And that makes sense because I've got a credit for sales and that has a normal credit balance. So again, I'll put in account number down here to let us know that I've posted it. Finally, for our sales journal, I'm going to go to sales tax payable. It's an account that starts with a 2, letting us know that it is a liability. So on the 31st, once again from S10, this time I've got a credit of $417.60. So give me a second here to do my calculation. And I should end up with $1,824.48. Post that in there again. 2140. And we're good with our sales then from there. Okay. Now, if I go back and look at the instructions, it does give us this in the order that we should do it in. The order that you post these totals is always in this order with the general journal in between here. Okay. So our next one that we're going to go to and post out of is our purchases. So if I look here on my purchases debit and accounts payable credit. So I'm going to go to purchases on the 31st. Purchase journal P10. Here. I've got a purchases credit or debit, I'm sorry, of $11,818.40. I add that to what I've got here, and I should get $118,378. Okay. Now I'm not going to post this quite yet because I've still got to do the accounts payable credit here. So this one's got 2, since there's 2 things under this column. So I've got to go to accounts payable. Go on the 31st from purchases. I've got an accounts payable credit here, $11,818.40. I add that here, and I get my total of $16,755.20. Okay, so again, just adding a credit to a credit to get this amount. Okay, so now I've posted to both of these. I've posted to purchases and I've posted to accounts payable. So I've got purchases, which is my first one. In parentheses, 5,000. And so now I've got it for both of these. I've got it for purchases and I've got it for accounts payable. So I should be in good shape there. All right, so 2 down, 2 to go. Go to cash receipts. Okay, so I've got accounts receivable credit. Go to my accounts receivable. First, CR12 here. And I've got an accounts receivable credit of $63.60. I add that to my 8,000 that I've already got there, and I add that up. Oh, I'm sorry, I put it in the wrong spot. It's should be a credit, as it says there, not a debit. So I subtract now because this one's a credit and this one's a debit, and I should end up with 2302.33. Okay, so I'll put that in here. 1130. Make sure you put in your parentheses. Sales credit's my next one. 31st. CR12. Sales credit. Should have 18,320. I add that up. And I add it to it here. I've got $258,615. Okay. Parentheses 41. 10. Sales tax credit. So the process is just the same here. I'm just continuing to post all of these things. In this case, a sales tax credit of $1,099.20. Add it here. Do your calculation. And you end up with $29,23.68. All right, sales discount debit. So I go to my sales discount. 31. CR12. My debit here is for $31.40. Sales discount has a normal debit balance because it is a contra sales account. So it's a contra revenue. Revenues usually have a credit, so a contra has a debit. Sorry, I add those 2 up here and I get $2,229.40. Post it here to 4120. And finally, I've got my cash debit. So I go find cash. One CR. I've got a cash debit of $25,747.80. This makes sense that my cash is going to go up here because it's my cash receipts journal. So I add my 25,000, whatever, to that, and I end up with $38,983.38. Okay. Post that to your cash, and you're done with your cash receipts journals. The final one here is our cash payments. And if I'm working left to right here, I don't have any specific account titles for my general debit and general credits. So because I don't need to post those, I just put a check mark on these. Okay, so only these general debit and credit columns are ones that I don't need to post totals to. Okay, because there's no account that I can put those on. So I go to accounts payable. I've got a total here. This is CP 15. In this case, I'll go back up. I've got an accounts payable debit of $8,656. So I'm going to subtract that from here because this is a normal credit balance and I've got a debit. So I end up with $8,099.20. Post that. Good to go. Purchases, discounts, credit. On the 31st, once again from CP15, I've got a credit of $128.48. Purchases discount is a contra is in a contra account, so it's going opposite of purchases. So blah 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 blah. Anyway, so I've got $128.48 here. So I do my calculation and I end up with $1,387.33. Post that guy. Last but not least, we've got cash. We've got cash, like I said. On a 31st, CP15. In this case, we got a cash credit. Makes sense because we're paying cash. So we're losing it. We've got a cash credit. So we're going to subtract this from our debit because it's a credit on this transaction and cash has a normal debit balance. So give me 1 second to do my last calculation here. I end up with $20,279.22. So got to post it. All good to go. So once again, just as kind of a quick reminder, all of these individual transactions to Electrographic Supplies and Supplies office here have already been posted to their specific ledgers, right? There's nothing there. All of you guys have already done that in 11, 1, 2, and 3. So all we're doing here is posting our totals. Remember? Only the ones here that give you account titles are ones that we have to post totals to. If it says general, debit, and credit, you don't have to post those. Okay, so these ones you don't have to post. If there had been any here, we wouldn't have to post. Final thing is on our purchases. It's got 2 of them here, so I've got to post it to both of them. Okay. All right, thanks guys. I'll see you at 11:05.